Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the man who recently conquered Mount Kilimanjaro. He's the CEO and co-founder of John Paul Mitchell Systems, Mr. John Paul DeJoria.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I love you out there. I really do. About 35, almost pushing 36 years ago, a good buddy of mine picked the hairdressing name of Paul Mitchell. And I started a company back in 1980. We thought we had a lot of money. Our backer pulled out. We had no money. We did start the company with $700 and a dream that we could make this happen. It was very difficult. In fact, people ask, when did you know you made it? And Paul and I knew we made it about 2 years in business because we were able to pay our bills on time. Not pay them off, but pay them on time. So we knew we made it. We knew, hey, we have it made now. There were a couple of things we did then that were very unique that no one had ever done in the industry. I take it back. One of them people did do, but not one of them kept their promise. One thing we said was, if we ever make it, and we really think we have the opportunity to do it, if we ever make it, we will always stay in the professional beauty industry with our hair care products, no matter what. Now, we said that. And a lot of people have said that before, but they get a little bit of money and maybe sometimes, let's say they change their ethics. We said we will do that. The second thing we will do is, if we make it and we think we've got a good shot at making it, we will do whatever we can so that those that are business partners that we rely on, the hairdressers, get whatever we could possibly give them. Whatever we could do. We want to help. Well, the number one promise committed us, if we kept the promise, in a corner. We painted ourselves this little corner we can never get out of. No matter what happens, we can't do anything with the Paul Mitchell hair care products but stay in the professional beauty industry. So constantly when you see me on TV saying, if you see a Paul Mitchell product in any drugstore or supermarket, it's definitely either black market counterfeit, but we do not put them there, only get it in a salon. It's a real thing. Now, I was challenged on this in 2004. This wonderful hairstylist in the audience said, John Paul, this is great, but what happens if something happened to you? You may be the majority shareholder, but if you die, who knows what all your descendants or attorneys or who knows what is going to do with this company? And that's kind of scary. And I said, wow, I never thought of that. I know my daughter who wants to be in the business and the rest of my family would, I think, keep in this business, but yeah, what if? So I got to thinking. In 2004, I took my majority interest in the company and I put it in a 360-year trust where no matter what happens to me, nobody in my family or family's future generations for 360 years could ever take Paul Mitchell and our hair care products out of the professional salon industry and into the retail industry or any other industry. They can't do that for 360 years. So we're committed. We are committed. This is some commitment here. We're committed. Now, by being committed, it means that our entire future is predicated upon your future, your success, generations to follow success, our future professionals in school, and how they come out. So needless to say, we started our school program a little over 10 years ago so we can make contributions, having students that have technical qualifications, business qualifications, and culture qualifications to enter the industry. Today, we're very proud to say that we have approximately 113 schools, and this year we'll graduate probably close to maybe 17,000 future professionals that are all trained in this area. Now, was it a proposition where we went in making money? The answer was no. We spent millions of dollars of doing this, and we're still paying off bills right now. We've been at this for 10 years, but we're looking at very, very long term. And a thing I wanted to share with you in long-term thinking, and that's what this is all about. What can we do now? And I want to do more of this. This is our first one. What can we do business-wise to enhance your business? Some of you out there, in fact, most of you out there, have some of the most successful salons or salon groups in the nation, and we know that. What could we put together that would help you? What can we do so no matter who's here? You're all going to walk away with no less than one thing, I don't care how great you are, you're going to do maybe a little bit different or add to what you're doing right now to enhance it. This took a lot of work and a lot of preparations because some of you out there are the best of the best, and there's just no doubt about it. I'd like to also remind you about things that work in basics. And when we get away from some of these things that don't work, maybe business goes wrong. Oh, during one of our economic upheavals, shall we call it, there was a story about a man who sold hot dogs. Now, this gentleman who sold hot dogs was a nice man. He came from a foreign country, as maybe some of you do, and some of you are here from foreign countries. And he said, I want to go to the United States of America, land of opportunity, and I would like to start a business. He thought, hot dogs. They have these things called hot dogs in America. They're good, but I can make them better. So what he did was he went, instead of buying regular hot dog meat, he bought the finest meat available. Instead of buying regular hot dog buns, he bought those that were so delicious that at the end of the hot dog, instead of pushing the weenie out and throwing the bread away, yeah, you eat the whole thing. It was really good. And maybe instead of, $1 for mustard, he spent $3 or $4 on mustard. So you get the best mustard in the world. And he made a hot dog that was incredible, but he didn't have any money. He put a little stand by the side of the road. Now, who was to know what that even was, other than a little sign saying hot dogs? So he made a sign and put it by the side of the roads, a couple of them, cheap sign. It said, best hot dog in the world, and he pointed to his little stand there. So people that went by, the passerby, could see that, hey, this is hot dogs, it's good hot dogs, let's give it a try. When the customer came by to try his hot dog, when the customer came by and ate it, the customer had the best hot dog they've ever had in their life. A little sign went by, they spent more on ingredients, more on the quality, the best they ever had. So what would happen? The townspeople that would drive by would go out there Friday night, Saturday during the week for the best hot dog. The tourists, the passerby would go on by and say, oh wow, let's stop there. When I was a little kid growing up in LA, we would drive up to Arrowhead and Crestline, and there was a little dinky hamburger stand, and the freeway wasn't there yet. We would stop it all the time. It was called In-N-Out Hamburger. Well, In-N-Out became incredible. It was the best hamburger that you could ever eat. So here we go. We have a scenario. There's a sign by the side of the road pointing on down. People came by and ate it. It was so good they had to go back and eat it again and again and again and again. The man thrived. He thrived and made so much money, and his business was so successful that he was able to send his son to college. He sent his son to Harvard, one of the best universities on the planet. His son goes to Harvard, and he comes home during the break. We're in the middle of an economic situation in the United States. And he says, Dad, you don't read newspapers because you barely speak English. You don't watch news on TV. Do you know we're in the middle of a big economic unrest? And the dad said, well, no, I don't read newspapers. I don't watch TV. No. He says, Dad, look, you've got a great business here. You're making tons of money. But during tough economic times, you've got to cut back in certain areas because it's rough times. He says, Dad, look, you have a big sign by the road now. You have a whole billboard up there. You don't need to spend that kind of money anymore. You have more business than you could handle. And by the way, Dad, so you don't need that. And Dad, your inventories are huge. Cut back on your inventories a little bit. Save some money there, cut back. And Dad, why are you spending $3 for a pound of mustard, or maybe you could get it for $2, a little bit cheaper, but you save that money. Not the worst, but not quite as good as what you have. And Dad, your meat is unbelievably expensive, just make it a little bit less. When these all add up, you've saved a little money here and there, Dad, and it's economic tough times, that's what you should do. So the father said, my son must know. He must know. He went to college, he reads the newspapers, he watches television. So the dad stopped the advertising by the side of the road. No longer could the new passerby even know there was something there. When the old person that would pass by, the regular customer, and stop and eat the hot dog, yes, it was good, but it wasn't the same. He went from here to here. Yes, that's much better than here, but it wasn't the same. And then he'd find himself running out of, whether it be mustard, whether it be buns, where he could not fulfill the customer's need. The inventory wasn't there. In a matter of months, as the town folk came out to eat the hot dog, it wasn't the same. Little by little, his business fell off. Now, he still had a business, but 3 months later, it wasn't like the business he had 3 months prior. And he said, my son must have been right. We're in these terrible economic times. There are so many things that we do, and that's what we have to address during our seminar with you. So many things that we do, and by gosh, we think we do them pretty good. But those things that we do, we don't want to cut back during difficult times, because sometimes what people tell us to do isn't quite as good as it should be, and we know that. So as we create our business and as we grow, we want to remember about the man who sold hot dogs, because had he had just left a sign by the side of the road, new people coming by maybe didn't realize the hot dog should be like this. It was here, but it still tasted pretty good. But then again, he lost a lot of the bulk of his business, and needless to say, his credibility, which wasn't the best thing to do in the world. I want to also chat with you just a little bit about management and management techniques. You're all managers here, or are going to be managers, or have been managers for years. A lot of people ask me to share with their own industry some of the things that I do with various universities, institutions, and even with the CIA and the FBI when I hold management training programs with them. And you say, well, wait a minute, CIA, FBI, JP, what are you going to do for them? Everyone needs to know how to be a more loving, caring manager. Then your staff is more effective, you're more effective, and your business is more cohesive. There was a recent article in Modern Salon magazine about my daughter, Michaeline, coming on our company and, taking over responsibility. She was asked an interesting question. What's it like as your dad being the boss and other people around, kind of being a boss? What's that like? And Michaeline immediately said without hesitation, we don't have bosses at John Paul Mitchell Systems. We have leaders, and we all look to develop the next person as a leader, and if possible, even better than us. We have leaders. We don't have bosses and employees. We're unified. And we love this very much because in a period of 35 years since we started our company, I believe my turnover worldwide for our employees of John Paul Mitchell Systems is about 50 people. Luke, is that correct? About 50 people in 35 years. That's our entire turnover. Because we love the people and what we do. We love who we do it for, who we do it with. It's part of our culture. So a couple small things I wanted to share with you here this morning. One of them would be about reprimanding. Whenever you reprimand somebody, and anyone around hears it, that person you reprimanded doesn't like you, and it's going to create covert hostility, meaning someone's going to be stabbing you in the back when you don't know it. If ever you have to reprimand somebody in your business, or they screwed up, and we all screw up, we're humans, or do something wrong, there's a way to do it where they will like you, appreciate you, and walk out with their head high in the air, shoulders back, saying, God, I love talking to my leader there. When you reprimand anybody, have three things ready. Number one, what it was they didn't do or did improperly. Second of all, how they should have done it right. Too many people do things improperly, don't know how to do it right, don't want to say they don't know how to do it right, and all of a sudden they're in trouble. The third thing is, and one of the most important, is write down and have in mind the third thing. What do they normally do right anyways that you could praise them for? So when they walk out, their shoulders are back and their head is high. An example, Mary, the receptionist, has been coming in lately 10, 15 minutes late. Well, we want to talk to Mary. Whenever you reprimand somebody, you do it one-on-one behind closed doors. Very important. Reprimand one-on-one behind closed doors. Don't let anybody hear you reprimanding anybody. And if you've got such a big inflated ego where, well, I want to let everybody know who the boss is, boy, do they know what a jerk you are. Reprimand one-on-one behind closed doors, period. When they come in, Mary, please come on in. Mary, I wanted to chat with you. I know you've been coming in recently 10, 15 minutes late, and Mary, we really need you here on time, Mary. And the reason why is the phones start ringing, you come in late, people are waiting. It's a very bad example of what our business stands for, regardless of the reasons. Once we could understand, but several times. Mary, the way to do it right, honey, is try and get here 5 or 10 minutes early. Then for sure you're on time. If you get here a few minutes early, relax. Have a cup of coffee, a cup of tea. Mary, you are one of the best receptionists we've ever had. When you answer that phone, you smile. Hi, this is Abba Salon. How can I help you? You are one of the best phone answerers. You greet people with the biggest smile. Someone as good as you and as great as you, automatically I would have expected you to come on and come on in and on time the way you should. Mary, you're that good. Please continue to be what you are now. Don't change. Just come in a little bit earlier, okay? Mary walks out. She knows what happens. She knows what's expected of her and why, but she knows that you think she is great, and you're telling her the things that she does right. And result is Mary feels wonderful. She goes about her day with a smile, maybe smiles even more when she answers the phone. And that's important too. When you answer the phone, smile. People at the other end know it. Even if you have a bummer day, just smile. Now, how about praising somebody? It's the complete opposite. When you praise somebody, you want to do it loudly and not behind closed doors. If they're working and somebody could hear you, oh my God, Mary, you made that lady smile so much. You are wonderful. Because when you praise somebody, it makes them feel good. And when they know somebody else heard you say something good about them, they feel that much better. So of course we want to praise openly and in such a way that people feel wonderful. They know they're respected, they feel respected, and that's how we run businesses together. Another thing that I do at the FBI and the CIA here, and I know at the FBI, well, actually it was the CIA, they said, JP, if we can handle a piece of paper 100 times, we'll be happy, okay? Well, I said, how to handle a piece of paper once? We all get mail. When you get mail, or you get any correspondence, on the spot, try to either get ready to call them and answer them, or put in one little stack of making all these phone calls right away. Or what I do a lot is I write on the email, because I don't do email. My secretary gives me emails occasionally. I will write the answer on the email or on the letter and mail it right back to the person, or pick up the phone, or if it's miscellaneous, I will throw that piece of paper away or give it to somebody else. This way my desk is not that full. My desk is only that full. And I have a lot of stuff that I do. So try, if possible, to handle a piece of paper once, not many, many times. You have a great opportunity here to learn a lot of wonderful things here today, and of course apply a lot of these wonderful things you're going to learn. But do take advantage of our Paul Mitchell school system. Here, once again, are students that are trained not only technically how to be good hairstylists, really good hairstylists, hair colorists, how to do salon merchandising, how to have a culture. They have a culture already. Part of their education is giving back. Every school we have, part of what they do is a fundraiser to raise money to help their community out, help their state, help their country, and also help out a little bit international. There's a lot of really cool things that they do. They're already trained, and they are looking for Paul Mitchell school salons to go into. Our biggest problem is this. We don't have enough focus salons. We don't have enough signature salons for them all to go to. And a lot of you say, well, God, I'd have opening in my salon. Send them my way. Go to them. Nationwide, we have 113 schools coast to coast, and we'll be opening up more. Find your Paul Mitchell school. Go down there. Meet the students. How you doing? Here's our salon. Here's what we have to offer. Let me contribute. Let me hold a little class for 5-10 minutes in your school, telling people good things about the industry. Let me meet your students. Go down there and mingle with them. Let them be part of you. When they become part of you, you're all amalgamated together. The industry is changing, but one thing that is not changing are personalities and people getting along with one another. I was recently asked on one of the television programs that I was on, well, John Paul, this technological world we're in right now, how does that affect salons? I said, well, first of all, it definitely improves the way we communicate, whether it's through computerization, whether it's referrals, which you'll hear in a while, this one young lady through the computer gets you customers. So the technological part is great. How to keep records. Robert will talk about that. Johnny and everyone will talk about that. How to keep good records. How to know what your average ticket is, not just what you make. How to keep good records. This is a technological era that can help us out a little bit. These are things that help you have a better business. But one thing that is not going to change is someone with the scissors in their hand cutting somebody's hair, or a machine putting color on somebody's hair. I think we are, I want to say, centuries away from that ever happening. In other words, we're in an industry that's going to be here. And in an industry where there's so many ways we can do special things.